Was Pahalgam terror attack a random act of terror by a Pakistani jihadi group? Was there a country other than Pakistan involved in planning and executing Pahalgam terrorist attack? To be more specific, was China involved in Pahalgam terrorist attack? As I raise this question, there may be people who think that this guy is being delusional. There may be people who think that this guy is spreading conspiracy theories with a motive. But let me clarify, my opinion is based on facts available on the public domain. I am actually quoting reports in India's mainstream media. I will focus the mainstay of my argument. One is an observation made by a Chinese expert in India's Jawaharlal Nehru University. He was quoted by India's mainstream media. Second is some of the acts of Chinese government just after Pahalgam attack. If you combine these and read these together, and again you check those facts available on the public domain, obviously China is one of the accused. China at least appears. So let's analyze those facts in detail. Welcome to Insights. I am Hari Kumar. Let me start with the opinion or the media reports that quoted a Chinese expert at Jawaharlal Nehru University in New Delhi, India. Mr. Srikanth Kondapalli, who is a professor of Chinese studies at the JNU, said terrorists who carried out Pahalgam terrorist attack contacted Pakistan masters using a Chinese satellite phone and with the help of Chinese satellites. What does that point to? Number two, he also said China had supplied Pakistan with around 120 photographs of Pahalgam region. Nobody is going to do that for any simple reason. 120 photographs is quite a big number. So they might have been planning something big. So it was for that purpose specifically they supplied photographs to Pakistan. So that is very clear. How did the terrorists get a Chinese satellite mobile phone? Without the help of Chinese authorities, you won't be able to get that. And they were actually using Chinese satellites. All these point to the involvement of China in this attack. Now, the other important piece of evidence is just after the Pahalgam terrorist attack, that was on April 27th, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi visited Islamabad. There he called on Pakistan Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar. After the meeting, they issued a statement in which it was very clearly said that China would stand by Pakistan. He expressed China's support for the integrity of Pakistan. He expressed China's resolve to help Pakistan's guard its sovereignty. What does that mean? It really meant that China was expecting some kind of retaliation from India. And he was assuring Pakistan authorities that China would stand by them. That was very clear. So, why did China help jihadis to carry out an attack in Pahalgam? There could be many reasons for that. Do you remember the Pulwama terrorist attack that happened in 2019? So, afterwards, many years have passed. China might have wanted to know how India's security establishment progressed in those years. Definitely, they knew that India would respond. They might have underestimated the intensity of a response. That's another issue. But they knew that India would respond in kind, and India did more than that. It was some kind of disproportionate response, which is nowadays used in modern warfare against terrorism. Proportionate rebuttals or retaliations will again lead to terror attacks. It will be an unending cycle of attacks. So India didn't want that. India wanted to remind Pakistan that it is going to cost them dear in the future. So that was the kind of retaliation carried out by India. Now, the another reason was China wanted to test their weapons. Their weapons get tested only by Pakistan. And if you test that weapons against India, India has got security systems from Russia, from Europe, especially France. Then even US systems are there in India. Definitely China wanted to know how those foreign systems fared against Chinese systems. That could be the reason. For example, the PL-15 missile or the MH-17 anti-missile system all were tested during the 4-day Operation Sindoor. It's another matter that Chinese systems fared poorly against all Indian systems. Now China will have many learnings from the war. So the Operation Sindoor was actually an occasion for China to test their weapons. That is an important fact. Then again, China wanted to put a roadblock regarding India's progress. So China wanted to slow the forward march of India. Why I say so? Because China is the electronics factory of the world. China is actually the manufacturing center of the world, especially when that comes to electronics industry. China has the upper hand. They are the biggest producers of electronics goods in the world. Second is Vietnam, and India has risen to the third position very fast. If you look at the progress of India on the electronics industry front, from 2014 till 2024, India recorded a growth of 77 times. I mean, not 77%, it was 77 times. Currently, the value of India's electronics goods manufacturing industry, or the total goods manufactured, the value of total goods manufactured, comes to over 105 billion US dollar. That's a big amount. So China knows very well that they need to hamper the growth of India. They needs to scuttle the growth of electronics industry in India. So they need to catch India in some kind of conflict. China doesn't want to engage in a war with any other country. They know very well their war doctrines they underscore the fact that every victory in a war is Pyrrhic. That is, both sides are going to lose in a war, the winner as well as the loser. So, China wants proxies to fight for them, and they would watch. They would bleed their enemy. They would use a proxy for that. China knows very well that if India and Pakistan are engaged in a long war, India will also bleed. And that way, India's economy will suffer also. The world investors will develop doubts about or fear about investing in India. So, those factors were also there. Then, China might have also wanted to test the position or strategy of the United States. Because if a war breaks out, China knew very well that the United States cannot completely disown India. At the same time, they cannot ditch their long standing friend Pakistan. So the US will actually be in a dilemma. China knew that very well. So there were certain factors, many factors, a handful of factors as to why China wanted a war between India and Pakistan. So it is logical to think that they might have planned Pahalgam attack, not just helped. That was why they supplied Pakistan with photographs of Pahalgam. They gave satellite phones to terrorists. They immediately went to Pakistan and gave them, necessary assurances. And moreover, during the Operation Sindoor, it was China that supplied Pakistan locations about locations of Indian weaponry. For example, they gave all the details of India's S-400 systems, India's aircrafts, everything. But it is another matter that India was able to hoodwink Chinese satellites and uh, retaliations from Pakistan side totally failed. They could not even destroy even a single target in India. That's another matter. But China might have learned many lessons from that. So if you look at all those facts, realities, the fingers definitely point at China. Whether you like it or not, whether you are a lefty who never likes such interpretations, that is the truth. Whether you are willing to accept it or not, China was the master brain. No doubt about that. Meet you with updates in the coming days. Till then, goodbye.